This is SharonRolph with my reading my chapter 4 of Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment. And this is going to be an interesting chapter because it really speaks to people who have had a career that was very demanding, and the transition into retirement is most upsetting for them because they don't know who they are without their job. So I titled this chapter Gain Status. And we've left the old status and now we're entering into the new status. So, was your job very demanding, very competitive, required lots of travel or overtime? Well, walking away from a job that consumes so much of your brain energy, power, and focus will likely feel like entering a whole new world overnight when you retire. No stress, no travel, no overtime, no demands, nothing to solve, to fix, or to accomplish. Whoosh, it's gone. Even your high-tech gadgets are mostly gone. Is your wardrobe completely different too? Who are you now that you can sleep all day? Where do you need to be? The coffee shop? Besides this, the US is known as the no vacation nation. Workaholics we are in a world. What in the world are we going to do with free time? Your job gave you status, a business card, a title, responsibilities are gone. What's even worse is if you were shown the door by surprise or a pandemic. Nobody to lead, nothing to control. Your life actually had been severely out of balance, in all honesty, maybe for decades. What this means is you had no time for friends, clubs, hobbies, spirituality, pleasure, and maybe even limited family time. They were non existent. Therein is the vacancy where others would have a support system to draw on once retirement was reached. For you, you no longer know who you are. It's kind of an out to pasture feeling. This identity crisis shows up as questioning your role in society, searching for more meaning and reason or passion for life. You might even be questioning your values, spirituality, beliefs, and interests. Transitions are tough. Confusion and exhaustion are common. You're in a different place in your life. Stop. Comparisons mean trouble. Internal and external judgments solve nothing. Find support through the people surrounding you. They help us know who we are, like mirrors. Focus on your greatness. It just needs a new landing place. Acknowledge your transition. It strengthens your self-image and starts to restore your confidence. A renewed sense of self and your contribution to society helps you to see yourself as acceptable and starts the healing process. It's a pivotal time. Tell yourself, I don't know all the answers yet, and that's just fine. I wonder if taking a year off, like college graduates sometimes do to find themselves, would be a good idea. To consider your possibilities, to find your heart again, to listen deeply, to find where you left your joy, and get life back in balance, to find a new rhythm to life now. The simplest and perhaps easiest transition is to go with this solution. Do what you did, only do it for charity. Accountant, find a foundation that needs a bean counter. Pilot, find a mission needing people or things delivered. This is where I like to use the question from the Lion King. Have you forgotten who you are? You are still the college graduate. You are still the giant of a person with a gentle heart. You are still a person of strong character, responsibility, and leadership skills. People can still count on you. This hasn't changed. Just a little lifestyle rebalancing is needed to get you back on level ground and sure footing. Fight the temptation to disappear into alcoholism or endless TV or internet or any addiction. You will be making room for depression, a lower quality of life, and higher health care costs. This is so important. I challenge you to have a friend or colleague hold you accountable and check on you weekly or whatever it takes. I was surprised when I learned from a young podcast guest that there are two kinds of fun. One is solitary and one is social. Did you realize enjoying your own company is important? I wonder if it's possible to reacquaint yourself with where your fun and pleasure come from. What touches your heart? What's satisfying to you? A big transition for me came when I accepted a job transfer to Tampa, Florida. A friend made a video at my goodbye party of words of wisdom as they sent me off. The biggest nugget on that video was give yourself at least 6 months to adjust and find or make new friends. At 3 months, I thought, I got this, I was good. But at 5 months, it felt like I'd hit a brick wall. So reminding myself of their wise words helped me hang on a little longer. Remember, you're more than your job. It's important to embrace and derive value from other roles of your life. A son or daughter, a brother or sister, a spouse or partner, a father or mother. The ability to detach emotionally from your work can make you better at living. I wonder if it's possible for you to find a need in your community, church, or family that needs attention. What project could you take on that could make a difference to someone? At the same time, engaging your heartstrings can actually save you too. What legacy could make you come alive, be worth your full energy, and start you working in the direction of a new future? The need I found in my community was at the senior center. They told me they were combating isolation and depression. That caught my ear, combating isolation and depression. Since so many boomers were retiring or will soon, I created a workshop and collected lots of resources, ideas to help them expand what's possible for them. Movies, books, websites, even use my fabric art blocks to inspire ideas in my what do I want to do in retirement workshop. The seniors' comments at the end of the class that I gave them lots to think about were very satisfying for me. Then, after being invited to be a guest on a talk show, I started wondering if it's possible to be more of an influencer. I started being curious and courageous in a new adventure of learning to be a podcaster and to inspire others on a larger scale. The challenge, however, was that podcasts weren't popular with boomers then. I'd have to build an audience too, yet I saw it as planting seeds. Now I have a bigger field in which to sow seeds through writing the book. You are still worthwhile and have so much talent and experience. What was it about your career in the beginning that was fully engaging? What were you passionate about? Who needs what you know and wants to learn it, to be mentored and developed? Someone else needs saving too. My podcast guest, the late esteemed Professor Emeritus Frank Carroll, was amazing. After retiring from the University of Massachusetts, Boston, he remained active in research and community service through volunteerism. He spearheaded and directed accomplishments that improved the quality of life, not only for older adults, but for residents of all ages in his community of Brookline, a suburb of Boston. He actually co-founded the Brookline Community Aging Network and is part of the Massachusetts Healthy Aging Collaborative with a mission to make a city a better place to grow old. He led the Brookline community into the World Health Organization's age-friendly community program and was very active in town meetings for 16 years. Frank's personal time and joy seemed to have no limits, ranging from gardening to home brewing to pottery making. Here's a portion of my interview with him. I like to grow all kinds of things. I'm currently concentrating on houseplants, and I do what can be called functional pottery that are useful things for the household, emphasizing useful things for food service and planters. I've become known for my French butter dishes. So I asked the question, what conditions do you care about or monitor and report on? Like, what conditions are you an advocate for in your community? Is your community a good place for older people to live? Well, he said, we call attention to the good things that this community offers, and we nudge a little bit to try to make things better. One of the things we started with was a concern from one of our members about restrooms that were available to the public. Then let's make that information widely available on our website. Another thing we're concerned about is the condition of sidewalks after a winter storm. We live in a community that is basically very walkable, and we have a lot of people, including a lot of older people, who like to get out after snowstorms and go about their affairs. And one of the issues is if the sidewalks are clear, is it safe for people to get out on the sidewalks? We set up a winter sidewalk monitoring team. The town did a considerable amount of public education on the need to keep the sidewalks clear, and we've had substantial improvements on the conditions of sidewalks after storms. This was something that benefits people of all ages. We've made a list of elevators that are both residential buildings and automatic door openers for business buildings. We now have people in wheelchairs that they can know that they can get around and see various businesses and government kinds of offices because there are elevators available to reach them. I think it's simple things that don't take an engineer to change. It just takes being your brother's keeper and helping people to know what works for them in their community. And we want to engage them. The productive aging moments take a kind of an opposite perspective, where the kind of notion is that older people find it most meaningful to continue to be active throughout their lives, remain engaged in political life and artistic expression, and on it goes. The response in Canada has been particularly strong. And here, the first major cities to get started were Portland, Oregon, New York City, Chicago, and Philly. But it's something that the police department, the fire department, and the health department work, and even the parks department. Everybody is involved. So that makes it really much stronger than just an advocacy effort of a small number of mostly older people. It encourages communities to be sensitive to the needs of people of all ages. This example reminds me of my grandfather. Think of the timing of traffic lights. If you have some people who take 20 seconds to cross the street, how are you going to help them? And I remember the day I stood and watched my grandfather walk across the street, and the light turned 3 times before he got to the other side. I thought sure he was going to get hit. And wait, we really need to make our communities livable for everybody. There are two kinds of ways to approach this whole process. One is through assessment of needs, and then doing planning and taking action. You could take what your strengths are and what could be improved and address it that way. Portland, Oregon is a municipality that is really exemplary in the way in which it took up the planful approach. When it joined the Age-Friendly City Initiative, it teamed up with a group that was associated with Portland State University and a group involving some older people there. And they did a very systematic study of the community needs before they committed themselves to taking any action. So they were really wanted to understand the demographics, the number of older people, the characteristics of the older people. And they took kind of a very systematic multi-year effort in planning to address it. One of the things that we did was we set up an age-friendly TV show that is operated through our public access television station. We have a group that puts on that show. They put on a new show every 6 weeks or so. We figured we can find people as we go along to enable us to help make things happen. We were very much focused on what's possible to do with modest resources. Then advertise our needs on the website. We're doing a mix of things, but we're very pragmatic about the way we approach things. We weren't very aware of what can be done. We are very aware of what can be done very simply at little or no cost. Now it's becoming known as the village movement. That's really older people getting together to talk about what can be done to enable them to continue to live successfully in their homes or communities. And in our case, we were fortunate to have a senior center director who wanted to be a part of that discussion. More that can be accomplished if people work in groups than if they work individually. So Frank Carroll's legacy in the field of gerontology has been truly remarkable. Let's accept this time of your life as a temporary, short-lived time of confusion into retirement, a seasonal change. Your sights are on gaining new insight into who you become over the recent decades to bring you to this new destination. You are taking a deep, slow, long breath in of fresh courage. The confusion will soon be behind you as you focus on your inner wisdom and self-discovery. Your old clothes don't fit any longer, and you're looking for a new wardrobe. That's a good thing because you aim to align the person you become with your new essence and new choices. You intend to leave a powerful legacy, find a new joy in exploring the future, and to live a meaningful life. Fulfillment will extend your longevity and reap deep satisfaction. So I end each chapter with actions to take. Here's a list of a few things that you could start doing to help you in that transition. So, one is list 20 things you love to do. That's hard. It sounds easy, but it's harder to do than you think. List 5 desires, wishes, or goals in each of these key areas of life: self, relationships, creativity, helpful people or support, career, wisdom or self-knowledge, family, health, wealth and prosperity. And the last area is fame or reputation. 5 desires, wishes, or goals in each of these key areas of life. Okay. How long has it been since you said thank you? Action to take. How long has it been since you said, what do you think? Become a wisdom well, a source of help where others come to replenish their courage, understand life's twists and turns, and generate curiosity and resilience. Thank you for being here today. I hope this gave you a lot of bright ideas. And next week, we'll do chapter 5. Thanks for watching.